Welcome back to Askewed Reviews, and today we have another fan request, and it is for the 1985 rom-com Just One of the Guys. Here is your trivia question for today. In the boys' bathroom, what graffiti related to the cast and crew is on the wall? The answer will be at the end of this video. At the beginning of this film, we meet Terry Griffith, who is a beautiful and intelligent young woman. She also has a handsome boyfriend named Kevin. Terry's ultimate fantasy is to become a journalist. So, since she is part of the school newspaper club, she decides to submit an article she's written for a contest in where she could win a summer internship at an actual newspaper. Her article is unfortunately dropped from the contest, and she is under the belief that it's because she's a woman. So she decides that perhaps if a man were to send it in, she could still win. So she decides to take some lessons on being a guy from her younger brother Buddy. At the same time, she decides to cut her hair and enroll at another high school so she can submit her article there. I don't know how any of that actually works. This is the 80s, so I guess somehow you can enroll yourself at another high school? Sure. Anyway, she also still calls herself Terry. So the new Terry, he tries to make friends with people immediately. Unfortunately, he tries to make friends with Greg Tolan, who happens to be the school bully, and immediately does not like him. There's also some interesting students that feel like they were background characters for one of the Revenge of the Nerds movies. Terry does eventually make friends with Rick Morehouse, and Rick shows Terry how to navigate the school. And throughout this interesting social experiment, the only people who know that Terry is Terry are her best friend Denise and her brother Buddy. Terry, of course, gets to learn about all sorts of interesting male rituals, including using the boys' bathroom, using the locker room, and even dating women. So, in the end, will Terry get what she wants out of this whole experiment, or will she come out of it learning something new? The movie is directed by Lisa Gottlieb, and it's actually her directorial debut. The story for the film is loosely based off of William Shakespeare's The Twelfth Night. The movie itself is filmed in chronological order. It's not very common to do that, but it does happen from time to time. It was also entirely filmed in Arizona, specifically in Scottsdale and Phoenix. The high school that they use in the film might look very familiar, as it's the same high school that they use in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Gender bending movies seemed to be a big thing in the early 80s, as you had already had Tootsie in 1982 and Victor Victoria in 1982 as well. The two writers for this film were Jeff Franklin, who would go on to write Full House and Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, and Dennis Feldman, who would go in a very different direction as he would write Species. Jennifer Jason Leigh was apparently also up for the role of Terry. I do feel that Joyce Heiser was a much better choice, though. She really did have that look of androgyny down pretty good throughout the whole film. If you didn't know this, she actually did wear a wig for the beginning sections of the film. That's actually not her hair. She cut it short for the film from the beginning. She also had to bind down her breasts with ace bandages, which apparently was very uncomfortable in the Arizona heat. Here's something that you may not know that is pretty interesting. There are a bunch of posters throughout Terry's room, some of them have Bruce Springsteen. Now, for several years before this movie was made, Joyce Heiser was actually dating Bruce Springsteen. Here's another interesting story about a musician related to this film. The character of Rick, played by Clayton Rohner, is obsessed with James Brown. And they actually had James Brown show up for 3 days during filming to teach Clayton how to actually dance for the prom scene to imitate his moves. William Zabka plays the character of Greg Tolan in this film. What's funny is, some people consider this his second of his three bully films. You see, he actually played a bully in The Karate Kid in 1984, then he was a bully in this film in 1985, and then a bully in Back to School in 1986. So when it comes to the film Just One of the Guys, this is a great 80s film. It definitely fits in with just about all the other ones that were made around its time. I do have to say there were definitely some plot points that were very confusing or didn't make sense at all, but it's still fun to watch. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. Now, as for the trivia question from the beginning of the episode, in the boys' bathroom, what graffiti related to the cast and crew is on the wall? Sorry if it's hard to see in this picture, but on the wall it says Lisa and Joyce are sluts, which is an inside joke for both the director Lisa Gottlieb and the main actress Joyce Heiser. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. If there's a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.